Hello YouTube, my name's John Advance and this is an introduction to Antimage. I didn't pick this, guys, I swear, I promise you. I randomed it after the patch, just after the patch that added a Baden. I apologise greatly, but people need to know how to play Antimage. So here it is. God, this is horrible. I hate anti-mage as well. I really, honestly, heroes like this that are really big on split push and stuff, not my cup of tea. So the ogre magi on our team is the greediest person in the world. He started off with a soul ring because he doesn't understand how to play support. Please don't do this, guys. I know you randomed and you're like, oh, I can afford a soul ring straight off, but don't do it because it puts pressure on the rest of your team who might not have randomed, and it just means that everybody else is a bit weaker off. As well as that, soul ring first isn't even that strong. When you think about what it means that you can do, you're like, oh, I can now cast like a fire blast on a guy. Okay, yeah, fire blast is, fire blast is a good skill. But you can only use one fire blast every time you use soul ring. Okay, so that kind of sucks. How much damage does fire blast do? Oh, okay, it does 80 damage. So why don't you just get like a few ironwood branches and right click people, because that would actually be better. Like, it's a 1.5 second stun, sure, which might give me a few more seconds to right click people as well, but it's extremely weak. So I am playing in a defensive tri-lane. It's not a particularly strong one because this guy's extremely greedy. He's also trying to block the safe lane. Please don't do this, guys. Blocking on the safe lane is bad. It means the creeps push under your tower at level 1. This is a problem. Luckily I am playing with Gaz and he's not greedy, he's smart. So I randomed. I picked up a poor man's shield, tango, salve, as well as more branches. I don't feel like my last hitting is very poor on anti-mage, but I am going to struggle a little bit at the very start here. Abaddon had only just been added when this was in, and I was scared shitless. Like, I basically had never played against him. I just knew that he was really strong. I'd played him once as support when this came out, and then when this game happened, and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm meant to do. And there's this fire blast, guys. That's how effective it is. So I've got 2 CS in a minute. It's not very good. See, I'm very, very afraid. I'm very easily bullied in lane. And basically I need this stupid soul ring idiot to go and pull, and I need Gaz to come in and harass for me, because I basically can't. I should have got that last hit, but I was a bit overwhelmed at this point because I didn't know what all the skills do. I'm taking a lot of damage already. And, one big obvious issue is that Abaddon plus Treant Protector is not like a good lane, but it's very, very good at early pressure. They have a huge amount of pressure on us. I'm just very scared. I've already had to use my salve. I've taken a lot of damage. The ogre pretty much can't do anything of use, and our tri-lane is going to be hit really, really hard. That, though, is not the important thing of this game. Remember, you're playing as anti-mage, you're playing a hard carry, you will always be useless early, and it is down to your team to actually get things done. You're always going to be useless early. There's nothing that you can do about that as an anti-mage, other than perhaps going the old anti-mage battling build. I would not advise you do that. That guy took that last hit. Thanks, ogre. Sorry, like, the more I see, like, soul ring first and stupid stuff like that, the more annoyed I get with people. I don't mean to be overly critical about people like that. I'm sure he's an alright guy. Like, I'm not saying he's an asshole, but either he's, well, okay, he could be an asshole, but what is more likely is that he's just mistaken. He just doesn't realize how bad it is. It's like when people go battle fury on Bounty Hunter. They're not trying to lose the game. They're just bad, they just don't understand why it's an issue. And so, that's, I mean, what can you say about that other than try and point out the reasons why it's bad? Basically, it just means that he can spam an 80 damage nuke, which isn't very strong at all. It's extremely weak, in fact. Having a soul ring first just basically is pointless. Until you're like level 2, level 3, you don't do any damage with your spells. So why try to make it so that you can always use those spells? Like, it's not going to do anything. You're just going to look like a fool, and I missed that last hit. So there's me looking like a fool. So I am taking a fair amount of harass in this lane. I'm thinking about Tranquil Boots at this point, but against their heroes, I really want to take this lane. I don't want to you know, compromise my farm in any way, shape or form. I just want to be able to right click really hard late game, because they have a Phantom Assassin and she's going to be farming pretty damn well versus a Windrunner. There's no reason why she shouldn't be, and we'll look at her farm. I'm on 12, she's on, okay, she's 7 and 1. It's not very good. It looks like the Tinies bottle first. So they're not doing particularly well against her either. They don't have very good lanes, unlike us, but what they do have, well, they don't have standard lanes, but what they do have is sort of like, and here I was, you know, see, this is a problem that I'm suffering from right now. I'm taking a lot of harass, and I essentially can't do anything about it. I thought I was going to die then to that guy. If that guy took too much damage and his shield exploded, I would possibly have died to the Abaddon. So, you know, things are not going fantastically, but things are not going terribly either. But one thing you'll notice is that the Ogre Mage is now ridiculously low on health, because he has no health regen, so, you know, he's screwed. I've needed to take tangos from Gaz because we're taking a lot of harass, and in a lane where you're going to take a lot of harass, having no health regen is bad. But what we do have is very good levels. Well, not fantastic levels, but Gaz has managed to get level 3 compared to both their sort of offlaners, or the lane against us, and they're both level 3. I'm level 4, and the Ogre is also level 4. And that's mostly because the Treants have died a fair amount, where they shouldn't be, basically. And he should be, you know, denying his own Treants off, getting them out of the way when they're going to as well, and just, you know, working towards stuff like that. Either way, we are starting to pull ahead in this lane, but the first couple levels were very difficult.
Missing bottom.
Luckily I do get one of those last hits. So my last hits, you know, God, how often do I say this? My last hits aren't very good early on a carry. I say this pretty much every time I play a carry. The reason because is generally supports aren't that great in pubs at zoning out, creating space and at making things easy for you. As well as that, I'm always going to miss last hits anyway. And what you got to remember, guys, is that a carry can't do very much early. You know, going, oh, my carry fucked up the lane, when you have 2 supports in the lane, is stupid. You fucked up the lane, okay? That's... And it's very, very rare that a carry is the one responsible for a mess up in lane. It's almost always the supports and, you know, good play from the offlaner against them. So they're all fighting over there. That's good for me. I want them to fight as much as possible and to just basically avoid putting me in these fights, because I really, really want my items. I have gone for picked up a belt of iron giant strength here. I want to get my treads first. Treads, if you get them first and then get your battle fury, basically is much more cost efficient than just getting a battle fury on its own. I'm not entirely sure why, I'll be honest. I don't know the mechanics, but I've heard professional players talk about it before, basically saying, you know, a really early battle fury, sure, is great, but if you're in any way, you know, going to have your battle fury slightly slowed, you may as well get the treads first, because of the extra attack speed, you're more likely to get farm once you've got them, you feel less vulnerable, things like that. And yay for trees, these guys are annoying me. So Gaz has had to go back. This is when we're most vulnerable in this lane now, but at this point I don't feel like they can kill me, but what they can do is zone me out of the lane, and that's just as bad in this situation. The reasons for this are, you know, there's lots of different ways, but if you think about it like this, like if they were to kill me, I'd come back with full health and mana and be like, well, whatever, that was annoying. Like, I'd TP to the lane and I'd farm more. If they don't kill me, but they just zone me out of the lane, I'll get less experience, I'll get less gold. Overall, they could zone me out of the lane for 2 or 3 minutes, which is way longer than the amount of, like, that's way more farm that I'm missing out on than the amount of farm that I would be missing out on if they just killed me. So I'm actually, you know, it's actually pretty bad for me. And this guy, again, every time he puts a photic shield, I just have to run away. It's so easy for them to bully me this game that it's unreal. It's really bad. We almost lose the courier then. That would have been absolutely terrible. Wait, did that ogre steal the courier from me when I really wanted my... Yeah, okay, so this ogre's very, very greedy, and he's going to pay for it with his life. He goes down there. So things are going fairly badly at the moment, but they've pushed down our first tower. My farm is okay. It's not good, by any stretch of the imagination, but I have at least farmed a little bit, and I haven't died. That's pretty important, and I've managed to get level 6, so I'm not doing great. Luckily for us, I believe our solo mid is pretty much winning his lane pretty damn handily. It looks like he's going, yeah, he's winning his lane really handily, and this guy was really nice this game actually. He basically picked AA just to fuck with the Abaddon. Apparently AA ult stops Abaddon. I didn't realise that until this game. Remember guys, I think I talked about that in an earlier video, but again, like, this video is of me from playing Antimage a while back, just as the patch was added, and that video is of me from playing a little bit more recently. But basically AA ult stops Abaddon's ulti, because obviously you can't regen during a tool if you're hit by an AA ulti. If you're hit by the Frostblast, it's called Frostblast, isn't it? Yeah. I just call it ulti. It's really bad. It's like League of Legends terminology or something. But either way, this guy's solo, and now we're getting to the bread and butter of what Antimage's early abilities should actually be. You can basically just bully people really, really badly, especially heroes like Nature's Prophet and stuff, and that was a great shackle by this guy. It's pretty much confirmed the kill. I purposely waited to last hit that and took the kill because I'm a carry, and in this situation I am behind and I need to get ahead as soon as possible. That windrunner shouldn't be taking that farm, by the way, but he does decide to do it anyway, so I say, you know what, I think we'll try and push the tower this a little bit then, I guess. He shouldn't have taken that farm because I really wanted it. That's pretty much the only reason. Like, it's not like it's really terrible of him, I just really wanted it, and Gaz does the same thing. I think he maybe needed some farm for something. I think he said he needed it. So those guys might be able to get the kill on that guy. It doesn't look like they do. So I am going to be going for my fast Battle Fury. I think I just queued it up. That was me queuing it up. Sadly, you don't see that in game. Yeah, this guy gives me a tango. This is really helpful because it means that I can stay for the next creep wave a lot easier. Even again, if the Prophet comes to try and piss me off, and I can pick up my regen here. My Ring of Health. It's Ring of Health, isn't it? Yeah, Ring of Health. And as soon as these trees are going to come in, I'm going to immediately prioritize last hitting them. The reason I prioritize them is because he's more able to make sure that I don't get them by just walking them back. As well as this, if I do get them, it's like extra. You know what I mean? It's not the what I should be getting, which is the normal creeps in the lane. It's extra added on top. So it's much more XP, it's a little bit extra gold. The normal creeps are probably still going to be alive for me to last hit anyway, so I may as well just go and get those. And now is the point where they should still be pressuring me, and they're not. If you look across the map, nobody's pressuring me, nobody's pressured me for a while, and my farm is going to accelerate from this point onwards. I'm going to get an 18-minute Battle Fury, which for me is slow, and for the average player is probably a little bit faster, but it's about average overall. So, you know, it's an okay timing for a Battle Fury. It's nothing special, but I would say generally I don't play Anti-Mage very often, and when I do play Anti-Mage, I play him only against when I thought the lane is going to be easy, which I thought it was going to be, because there's no reason that I should believe that they would send a Nature's Prophet and an Abaddon. Now, one good thing that just happened then, the PA came top. PA at this point is actually a lot stronger than me. She hasn't got a level in her passive, which is, in my opinion, a mistake, but she's got coup de grace, she's got phase, and she's got an ogre club. So I'm probably slightly more sustainable, but if she just comes and throws everything on me, I'm going to be really low, and because she's RNG based, and there's always a possibility she'll turn around and crit me 3 times in a row, I have to be afraid of her if I'm even a little bit low. You can see I've already switched back to strength treads, and I'm just a little bit afraid. I was asking for support, but then more people came up, and there's not really much opportunity to support me. So I'm 1-0-0, my last hits are now up to 45, again, not good by any stretch of the imagination. I thought I was going to be initiated on then, so I just got the hell out of there. You can see on the map there were other people going for me. I think this windrunner is going to die. Yeah, the windrunner is dead. Or at least she should be dead. Is she not dead yet? Okay, yeah, she's dead. But now I'm running a little bit low on places that I can farm, but I said, you know what, I think we can get this Shadow Shaman. That's a nice easy kill. I don't actually get a right click on him at all, but I get some golden XP for being around, which is nice. So I've got my Ring of Health. There's an easy mistake I could make here, which is to go and pick up my Void Stone as well. This is essentially pointless. I should save up and get my Claymore or the Broadsword for the Battle Fury. This is because it's going to do a lot more damage. I'm not going to suffer from mana issues anyway. The only mana I'm going to be using is to blink, to move to other places, to farm, to split push. And that's exactly what I'm doing already. Even though I haven't got my Battle Fury, I do need to try and split push, and I've immediately got someone to TP to the lane already, in this case the Shadow Shaman. And as soon as I've done that, I've kind of done my job for this part. So I am saving up for a Broadsword or a Claymore. I hope I am anyway. I can't really remember this game. I just remember this game. You'll see the power of Antimage towards the end, basically. You can see the weaknesses of Antimage already. He's so easy to harass in the early stage of the game. He's so weak until he's got, 3 or 4 items up. And he's very, very easy to overestimate how strong you are. He also doesn't scale as well into the late game as you might think he does, because his damage base is, or his damage buff up is essentially just mana break. So that means that it's a static damage, so it doesn't actually scale that well into the late game. Luckily, he's an agility hero, so agility, extra damage, extra attack speed, so he does still scale well into the late game, but he does eventually fall off, and PA I am worried about in this game. Even though she's still dying a bit, I'm not. I'm getting much more reliable farm and such. She can definitely win a late game fight versus an anti-mage. She's very, very strong versus anti-mage as well. Anti-mage requires specific items to deal with her. She doesn't require shit to deal with anti-mage. And again, every single time that I can, I'm finding the opportunity to pressure. I pick up my Broadsword there. Is that my Broadsword or my Claymore? That's the Claymore. Okay, the Broadsword's the thinner one, obviously, because that's what broad means, right, guys? Yeah, I don't understand either. And again, I'm being pressured further by the Phantom Assassin, so I was a little bit worried. I did try and dodge the dagger then, but I didn't manage to. I'm just going to continue running until my second blink. I have maxed out blink. This is my preferred sort of build. If I'm not being pressured, I would only go 1 or 2 in blink early, but I have been, so I just get 1 in spell shield, 1 in mana break, max my blink, get mana void whenever, obviously, because it's always useful to have it. It's not particularly great until you got more points into your into mana break to have mana void, but you can still, mini stun with it, cancel TPs, I guess. Ancient Apparition gets a nice kill then. I possibly should have jumped on the Shadow Shaman then. I think if I would have jumped on the Shadow Shaman, I would have got a kill then. And again, I'm still too weak to really do anything, so I'm just going to continue to try and split push and pressure. I think my Battle Fury is actually going to be quite late this game. It's going to be somewhere around 20 minutes, which is not good. If you can get a Battle Fury before this, obviously you should, but the reason I'm not is because I was pressured a lot more than I should be early. I was against a dual lane, my tri-lane wasn't very good, the Ogre Magi was unhelpful, to be honest, with his item build. But what I am able to do, even without a Battle Fury, is split push. Because I'm very survivable, I can see where they all are on the map, I know what they're doing, and every time you know what the enemy is doing, you can split push pretty much. Like, that's your open door to just guarantee split push. If you know they're dead, if you know they're fighting on another part of the map, if they're Roshaning, unless you feel like you can contest the Roshan. I really wanted to stay to get that, but I was like, I don't know if he's got any friends walking through the lane, I might get disabled. Let's just play it safe. I'm just trying to play as safe as I can, and this is one thing that I really stressed recently in videos. On the vast majority of heroes, playing safe will win you the game. Playing, trying to play fancy Dota, unless you can play fancy Dota, at which point you're not watching these videos properly, because you don't need to be. Playing safe is much, much more likely to get things done than trying to play, complex Dota, to trying to play smart. I'm going to try and take this kill from the Phantom Assassin. I do get it, yeah. So that's a nice simple kill there. That was a really, really good job from the Ancient Apparition there. I think he's actually on my friends list now after playing this game. I think so is the Windrunner. Yeah, if I remember rightly, the Windrunner and the Ancient Apparition were both really nice guys. The Windrunner's not like a particularly great player or anything, but you know, like, I don't care if you're a great player or not. As long as you're a nice person and you're not like terrible and you're not feeding, you're playing safe. Then you know, all is well. The Ogre, you know, like I said, not a helpful guy, but
middle tower is under attack.
so again, just trying to get as much farm as possible. I'm almost up to my Battle Fury now. This guy's trying to pressure me, but it's not really working out very well for him, and I'm thinking about whether I can try and kill him at this point, I think. Because he just used a load of mana on me. I did check his mana pool, only very quickly, and he's actually got a fair amount, so... It looks like he's rushing an Aghanim Scepter after Arcane Boots. Please don't do this, guys. It's terrible. Watch my Tiny build for an actual good carry Tiny. Not that he should be playing carry in this point, he should be playing kind of almost support Tiny. So, you know. That should be a 4-stat if he's playing properly. I'm going to jump here. This is basically the point where I was really scared, and I'm probably going to die. But I blinked again to avoid his blink. That was a really nice move from me. And I'm going to keep on blinking basically and just get my way home. I was convinced I was dead. I remember saying I've died, like I'm dead in TeamSpeak to Slayer and Gaz. Slayer's not in this game, just Gaz. I remember saying I've died, like there's no way I'm getting out of here. I blinked at the second that the PA blinked though, and because of that she wasn't able to right click me. She should have just daggered. If the Tiny had been better, he would have toss comboed me and I would have died. Again, bad play from this Ogre. I don't want to like pick on this guy, but he's obviously the weakest player on the team. And like you might be saying, oh well, you know, he's not doing that badly, is he? He's 6-3 and 5, you know, that's fine. Yes, but he's currently taking last hits from me when he should be doing what an Ogre Mage I should be doing at this point, which is securing the early game. So he should be off with the rest of the team, like doing useful things, rather than making it difficult for me to last hit and pissing me off. Essentially right now he's just serving no function. You know, I can be doing this on my own, and I can be doing it safe. He's an Ogre Magi, sure he's very survivable, but he has essentially no escape. And he just shouldn't be split pushing. Right now, we're suffering on the mid tower. Someone's maybe going to go down. He should be right there. Like, that's his role. And not knowing your role is more often than not way worse than just bad play. Because it means that other people are going to suffer on your team. If you're playing bad, or if you're just bad, then that's fine, because you're going to be playing with equal skill level people. So I finally got my Battle Fury here. It's 21 minutes 30. It's a bit late. That's not good, but it's still a reasonable time. You know, this is no like, oh, we've lost the game, your Battle Fury is never coming up. The reason that it's okay is because I've still not died and things are still going well. I'm still snowballing, but just slower than you would want me to. And now I can farm a lot faster anyway, so, you know. The thing with Anti-Mage is every minute in which you're not getting a Battle Fury is minutes that you're essentially not farming like you should be. And that is apparent, but we did get the tower down bottom, and I'm against a team that isn't going to do very well versus split push. They don't really have anyone to counter split push other than maybe a Blink Tiny would be very good, or a PA can possibly, you know, combo up with him, but neither of them are going to do that. The Nature's Prophet doesn't have a sheep stick or anything yet, so they can't lock me down. For the moment, I'm very, very confident that I can just split push continuously. And that's essentially what I'm doing, you know. You can see where my team is. I see no reason to go and fight with my team right now when there's an opportunity to get a free tower. Like, this is a free tower. There's no chance anyone's point is coming back to get it. I got myself a destroyed tower. Oh look, only one person from their team has backed. It's only the Nature's Prophet. I'll farm a bit more. And if the Nature's Prophet comes, I'll murder him. I'll probably murder him. We'll see. But even though that I'm not there, luckily we have a team of mostly good early game heroes. These are all heroes that can be played as support. The Ancient Apparition obviously is playing as a solo mid in this case, which is very unusual. Isn't done very often now, but it's still very good. Trying to be efficient with my blinking there. I hit these creeps earlier, didn't I? Wow, these creeps haven't been killed in ages. So I'm looking to get a Manta style yet. Everybody knows why. More illusions of Anti-Mage means more mana break damage. Anti-mage attacks faster, it will make him more survivable, it means I can split push faster, I can push faster, it'll mean that I can finally come to team fights because I have enough survivability to potentially come to any team fights, which I think it's a good idea to. Remember, just because you've got the item, that means you can team fight, doesn't mean you always should. It's down to decision making, it's down to the game. In this game, I want to split push more than I want to team fight, but I still want to come to team fights occasionally because my team will eventually start to get to a point where they're running out of physical damage. Right now, they have enough magical damage that it doesn't matter. And again, guys, I know this looks terrible, but honestly, if you want to just sort of see what this all leads up to and what Anti-Mage can do, if you're unsure of how to play Anti-Mage, this is the bit that you want to watch. If you just want to see me owning on Anti-Mage, go to the last third of the video, you know, or go halfway through the video. This is basically the point in which Anti-Mage is most important, or things are most important for Anti-Mage, not the point where Anti-Mage is strongest. So I purposely try and pull these creeps here to try and get them to stun him. Suddenly it doesn't work, but I'm immediately just going to right click him afterwards. And I do pick off the easy kill on him there. At this point, a solo Tiny could have killed me if he was a better player maybe, but he doesn't have the items to do it either. And, you know, I did a lot of right clicks on him, he gave me the opportunity. I did try to do a cute play by running into the centaurs to see if they would stomp him, but he just stunned them, so it didn't really work. Either way though, that was a nice simple easy kill for me. He shouldn't have been at that part of the river, you know. So again, trying to be as efficient as possible. Every time the creep wave has dive, blink to another camp, kill the creep wave, blah blah blah, etc etc etc, repeat. At this point I could be split pushing a little bit further because they are one man, they just went one man down, but I'm a little bit worried because they're all missing. They think I'm in the jungle there, so they went to go gank me, but they lose the opportunity to because I'm now split pushing again. And they're just going to try and start a fight mid instead, this time on the Ogre Magi. So he's probably going to die to this. Yeah, he does go down. That's unsurprising. I mean, let me look at his items and stuff. He's gone for a very greedy item build. He's not actually as survivable as he thinks he is because he's not got enough armor. And they have a lot of physical damage on their team. You know, it's not a huge amount of magical damage, so HP pool isn't going to make much of a difference. I am going to take out this tower at the cost of taking a little bit of damage. I pointlessly blinked then, but it's fine. And now we're at 26 minutes. I have the ultimate orb as well. This is a little slow still, but my farm is going to speed up soon. I am now 3-0-0. You can see, you know, this is so typical of how an anti-mage is going to react at this point. I thought he had support, and then I realised afterwards that he didn't. If I'd have realised early enough that he didn't have support, I would have just killed that guy. I would have done nothing other than just killed the Nature's Prophet. He was very, very vulnerable. I had everything up. I have my Yasha on me, so I'm doing a bit more damage, and I'm hitting fairly fast as well. As far as item builds is concerned, guys, this is the standard anti-mage item build as far as, you know, a late game anti-mage. I almost always advise this is how you play an anti-mage. There's very few times I would say go for the old battling build. There's a lot of reasons for this, mostly just because it's like anti-mage excels in this role. There are plenty of other heroes that excel at the sort of, you know, the early fighting of a carry. You know, there are heroes like an alchemist, for instance, or a chaos knight that you could pick up that would excel much earlier on than an anti-mage with the early item build would, and then snowball much faster into the late game. Anti-mage, in my opinion, is much better in the sort of, you know, 40-50 minutes timing. Between that time, he is amazing. After that time, he starts to fall off, and before that time, he doesn't do that great. Unless, of course, he's got ridiculous farm, which is, you know, it's very possible. So that Nature's Prophet is a little bit out of position there. I'm thinking about going on him. What items does he have? Okay, yeah, I'm going to jump this guy. There's, like, no way I won't. That guy comes in as well. I'm going to run in. I'm going to do some serious damage. He's, like, 1000% dead. Gaz, of course, is going to waste his ulti on him because fuck it. Why not? And I'm just going to farm up this nice big creep wave he leaves for me. And now I've got my Manta style finished. So again, still quite slow, but my farm is now picking up a little bit faster. 3-0-1, that's the first time I've got an assist. That's the first time I've fought anyone with any help, basically, apart from the, the very beginning of the game. And this is just what you want to do as anti-mage. You want to just, do your thing as far as split push. So I am going to speed up the video here. I'm going to put it on 2%, or 2 times. I'm going to keep this open so I know what's happening. And you're just going to see my movement. And I'm basically just going to not talk a huge amount other than, again, we see their team, I'm going to split push. We don't see their team, I'm going to hang back in the jungle and farm a little bit. If we see their team and the team really needs me, I'll go back and help. But look, I can see their whole team. I'm timing it, waiting for as long as I can. I've used my Manta Style, and now I'm blinking backwards because they're getting closer. If they'd have gone the direct route, they would have just missed me then, but they went a slower route. So I actually had more time than I thought I did to go and take things there. Either way, it doesn't matter. This is the point where things are getting really strong for me. Because I've taken 2 tier 2 towers, I can pressure racks every time I feel like it. This makes things really hard for them. Obviously they can do it very well because they have an H's profit as well. And we're down 2 tier 2s, we're actually behind as far as towers. But every time they give me the opportunity to, I will take a racks, basically. So at this point I said, you know what, they're all backed off, they're a little bit afraid, they think I'm going to be split pushing or in the jungle again. Let's take ourselves an easy Roshan. It's going to be a little bit slow for us. You can see it's taking a fair amount of time, but I think, yeah, I am going to pick up the Aegis and Immortal. This allows me to come to a fight. That Abaddon gets quite a bit of damage taken off from him. I'm going to immediately, you see in this, I'm going on the weaker people in the back of the fight. I'm not going into the front of the fight. I don't want to fight things like the Abaddon. I don't want to fight people like the PA. I want the rest of my team to deal with that. And I basically pick off, I get an assist, no, 2 assists from that fight, and 2 kills for free, basically, just by going on supports and going from people in the back lines of play. When you first come to fight, team fights as an anti-mage like this, where you haven't quite got, all your huge items out, you haven't got a butterfly and a heart. When you come with just like a battle fury and a Manta Style, you want to go on the people at the very back, because they're the ones that are going to suffer the most as well from mana break, and they're the ones who really can't afford to be hit. That was a nice dodge from me. And now is the point where I'm starting to farm the enemy jungle as well. So I'm getting close to my butterfly here. Normally I would advise going for a straight, again I'm being chased, but there's no chance they're ever going to get me. I'm just going to keep blinking away. I'm on a 6-second blink. Without a guaranteed lockdown spell, there's no way they can get me. And again, going on the supports in the back lines of play. Getting myself basically 3 kills. Sadly, we do lose the fight anyway, but, there's nothing more I can do. If I go on the Tiny, there's a very high chance that I'll have to fight the Tiny and the PA. They do get a lucky crit there, and they're going to try as hard as they can to try and kill me. I'm going to go on the PA here, just because she was a little bit lower. It is hard for me to go on the PA because of her evasion, but I'm just going to continue chasing. You can see there, he's used Blade Mail. I don't want to fight that. I have low HP. And again, every time someone's a bit low, someone's out of position, I can just chase them. It doesn't matter. If they don't group up, if they don't lock me down, they don't have enough ways of dealing with me. I thought he was trying to juke out, but he decided not to in the end. Get myself caught in some trees. Finish up my my eagle song there, so I have the rest of the butterfly going into Courier. Now, the reason I went for butterfly before heart, which is what I would normally do, I normally pick up heart first. Butterfly is better versus physical damage because it's a 35% evasion plus 30 agility, which is a load of extra agility and such, which will give me more armor. It's better against physical damage. They don't have a lot of burst nuke damage. They have mostly physical damage, the only real burst nuke damage, and I do finally get my first and only death this game in the middle of that fight. They caught me out just after I'd blinked, and this is the point where I'm thinking, oh, this is really bad. They could possibly take racks from this. Luckily, that guy's going to fight off that guy for as long and as hard as possible, and we're almost going to do okay in the fight. Most of them have backed off, and we have a buyback luckily from the the Ancient Apparition. He does manage to take out those as well as get the debuff on these guys. This is basically just really really poor for us, but we are going to lose a 1 melee Rex from it, which means that we're likely to lose the range Rex later on, just due to the creep equilibrium and stuff. It makes things a little bit harder for us overall. Obviously the creeps in the mid lane are now going to give less XP, they're now going to give less gold, they're less worth farming, but you'll notice my levels now, I've started snowballing really hard. I'm now up to level 22, I've been farming pretty much the entire game, it's 38 minutes in, I have my butterfly, I'm hitting extremely hard and extremely fast. I'm up to almost 300 damage, just a little bit under, plus the damage from mana break. See, again, as soon as I get into these fights, I go on the person on the back line to play. I then change my target. I'm going in for the person on the side. Again, Nature's Prophet. I'm trying to do as much damage as possible, but the fight's going badly for us. I want to just get out. I'm going to farm. I'm going to take this haste rune. I'm going to farm more. So I picked up a Vit booster as well. Vit booster is much more cost effective than trying to go all the way for a Reaver, because Reaver's so expensive that you're going to struggle to get it. I'm waiting to see if this Nature's Prophet goes into the back. See, I pop off my Manta illusions to try and do as much damage across the team fight as possible, as well as try and push away the creeps. And again, we're just going to keep on fighting. The PA tries to jump on me then, but I do so much damage versus her that I do manage to win the fight versus her. Because she's remember, she's relying on RNG, I'm relying on reliable damage, so I can most of the time assume that I will win the fight. It's only when I get really low that I should always back out, because there's always a possibility of me just getting insta-gemmed. I get force staffed by that guy to farm faster. And now that they were pretty much all down, I can just continue to jump in. He tried to ward trap me there. If I'd have got ward trapped, that would have been really bad. And I think at this point, you know, we really wanted to try and push their towers, but I was just a little bit too low. So I'm going to be forced to back off, basically. There's not much I can do. You know, maybe I could go jungle a little bit, but it's only going to do more damage to me. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is Vlad's. I know a lot of people would pick up Vlad's earlier than this on Anti-Mage. Please don't. Rely on your team to get it. Tell them to get it if you need to tell them to get it. Yes, it will mean that you have more health. It means that you have the lifesteal. It's great for the armor and such, but it's 0.2k item on a hard carry. Remember, a hard carry, as in your absolute last line of defense, the one who wants to have all the farm in the world, the person who is meant, absolutely meant, to pick up like tons of 5k, 4k items. Currently, I'm sitting on, you know, very expensive items. Again, I tried to jump on this this guy here. He does eventually go down. We're feeling a lot more under pressure now, and this is the point where the game's getting a lot more even. I'm still 10-1 and 7 though. And pretty much the only ones that I'm worrying about at this point is the PA. If the PA does well in a fight and they get a good fight, plus the fact that we are now very badly pressured because the poor creep equilibrium, because of the loss of the rags. Because the creeps are always going to be pushed towards us, plus they have a Nature's Prophet, so they can always try and split push. Luckily, if they try and split push versus me, I'm likely to kill him. So I finished up my heart here. This is pretty much the standard items that you will always see on Anti-Mage. I'm afraid, guys, I'm not going to buy any more items this game. I would, after this, normally advise an Abyssal Blade, but because I'm versus a PA, and PA has passive evasion, I would advise getting a Monkey King. This will mean that I could always hit her, and it will mean that a couple of times you'll see I'll get into fights with her, and I won't be able to kill her. So now I am going to slow the things down again. This is the important point for me. I said before, the most important point for Anti-Mage, for him getting his job done, is between 40 and 50 minutes. I was absolutely right in that regard, and I continue to mean that right now. It's 45 minutes, so I said, you know what, let's get ourselves an Aegis. They actually, yeah, they unpaused, so even after it's obviously one of their guys down, there's not much we can do about that. I know it's a bit harsh, but we did take Roshan then. We were likely to take it anyway. We were in a good position too, and you know, I can always quite easily take Roshan on my own. That is unsportsmanlike behaviour, but there's nothing much I can do about it. If they'd have had Tiny, maybe they would have contested us, but I don't think they knew. They didn't have wards up at all, and I've been so manoeuvrable on the map, I could have been anywhere anyway. Again, you can see I'm not getting much creeps, much gold from the creeps in the mid lane. I have now maxed out my levels, and that is, you know, that was always going to happen in this game. I am very, very obviously going to you know, the longer I spend on my own away from my team, the more likely it is that I'm going to farm up continuously and farm up level 25. And I just avoided a lot of ganks in this game as well. You've seen I've only died once, and avoiding a lot of ganks on a hero like Antimage is basically what makes you, you know, get to level 25, because you're always guaranteed to farm if you're not dying. Again, any lane that's pushing in, any opportunity to farm, I will try and farm it up, but right now is when I want to actually go for the fight. The only other item that I can buy now to max myself out is a Divine or a Monkey King bar, and I actually have no slots to even buy a Monkey King bar because I'm sitting on a on Aegis of the Immortal. As another reason that I picked up Butterfly before Heart in this game, I forgot to mention it. Spell Shield, really good skill. Physical, 50% resistance to magical damage. You see when you've maxed it out, that equates to magic resistance of 62%. With the agility that I have as well, I'm sitting at 54%. As you can see on some, it's more like just like 59% maybe. So you can see here they have gone on us. The only thing that's going to mean that I fight this PA well is the Aegis that I have. You see they initiated on us. We started losing the fight from the start, but we had the Aegis. The Tiny does go down, and he's being controlled by another player, it seems. From what they said, if I remember in this... Actually, no, they didn't say anything in this game. But it seems like the Tiny was being remote controlled from a fairly competent player. Now, one mistake that you see after that is they immediately glyphed as soon as we push their tower. A tier 2 tower at this stage in the game is worthless. Do not glyph for them, basically. This now means that they do not have glyph for when we push their tier 3 tower. It means they don't have glyph if we're trying to attack their racks. And what this essentially means is GG, exactly. I'm now to 4.9k, guys. You're going to see my money spiral out of control. This is when, like I said, I'm the strongest. Watch these next couple fights. These next couple fights are the most important point as far as why Anti-Mage is so scary and why he does so much damage. So we've taken 2 racks. We're going to immediately go on the mid lane. They're not all up yet. They're going to be up very soon. They can still fight. Remember, the PA is now only going to get stronger than me, whereas I'm going to get weaker. I thought we weren't going to have enough time to take the melee racks, but I was wrong, so we're going to take both. And as soon as they're back, I'm going to blink out because everybody's back up in a second. We don't have everybody in the fight. There was only 3 of us there, so we need to get the hell out of dodge. I'm going to farm up, back off, take their jungle. This is less areas that they can farm up. You can see we've also warded their jungle. This is really good warding from whoever it was on our team that warded. Probably Gaz, but this is like how you want your wards to be all the time if you could. Obviously you can't have wards all the time like this, but you know, like I said, if you could, you would. Tiny has now abandoned the game, so I guess he was just fed up of losing. He wasn't playing very well this game. He's 3, 10 and 20. It's pretty poor, to be honest. Their team overall has just fed away too many deaths that shouldn't have happened. And that's probably the result of just, you know, just how good and how well communicated and how nice everyone was in our team. So you can see him going to go on this Shadow Shaman here. He's basically panicking. And I'm going to get myself a kill on the Antimage, no, a kill on the Shadow Shaman very, very easily, as well as farm up these. I did use my Manta Start at the start of that fight, basically because there was no reason not to. There's no stuns that I could have dodged. There was stuff that you know, they have a Hex, which means I should be worried about it. You can see, I see that guy on the high ground there, and I'm going to very quickly and easily pick up a kill on him. And you can see how quickly I just dissolve people at this point. Anti-Mage is much better against supports and such than he is against carries. He's not great in a 1v1 sort of carry fighting engagement, just because he's very item dependent. He doesn't have many great scaling late game sort of damage skills. So I'm going to go on this PA here. You can see I'm trying to hit her. I'm missing a fair amount, but I'm still going for her. I'm still trying to get her. I need to guarantee this kill, and I do eventually get her the kill. She didn't get great RNG that fight, but mostly she was disabled for a fair amount of it, and she was also focusing the wrong target. She should definitely... Everybody should be focusing me. They need to kill me off as quickly as possible. If they kill me, they pretty much win the game at this point, because I don't think we can defend. Again, they do have Blade Mail at this point, so I was a little bit worried. Luckily, my team dealt with them fairly simply. Oh look, 3 kills, guys. I killed that guy pretty quick, don't you think? Yeah, Mana Break plus Illusions plus the items that I have kills people very fast. You can see I have a fair amount of items at the end of this game. I said at this point, you know, we should just end it. Now, yeah, Tiny did abandon. This game wasn't exactly the fairest game in the world towards the end, but we'd already sort of won anyway. They were still using him in fights. One of them had fairly good micro to use him. I ended the game with 11.5k, guys. That's how quickly Anti-Mage will accrue gold in the late game. You can see I went 13, 1 and 5. That's pretty much how you want to play Anti-Mage. He's very, very good at split pushing. You don't want to go up against heroes who are good at countering that. Heroes like Storm Spirit, heroes like Queen of Pain. Hex carriers will crush you in the late game if you give them the opportunity to. Remember, when you first come to your first couple team fights, go on the supports. They're more likely to have a much more mana and a much more skills that they want to use. They're much more likely for you to be able to kill them as well. Going on carries very, very early with just a Manta Style and a Battle Fury, you're not going to be able to kill him. Remember, as long as you get your Battle Fury before 25 minutes-ish, you're still going to be able to farm yourself back into the game. And you should try and do things between the 40 and 50 minute window. So thanks for watching, guys. Good game. I hope this is helpful to people. I know this isn't super amazing anti-mage play or anything, but this is meant to be just the sort of basics of how to do it. I'm going to do some videos soon on professional players. I'm going to watch professional players and show you how they do it and how amazing things are when they do it, because they do it really way better than I do. But those videos aren't going to be quite as helpful for newer players. They're going to be more for better players. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has helped, and bye bye.